Hey there, welcome to the video on how to upload and prep Google Forms data. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Google Forms data first. So here's an export of a Google Forms data file. One thing you'll notice is we don't have a responder ID or a response ID, which is okay. We'll go ahead and add that in later through the software. Another thing you'll see is we have a multiple choice question that has multiple answers in the column. So you'll see this person answered it's featured, customer support, easy to use, and easy to learn, which is fine. We'll go ahead and split those out later on in the software. You don't have to do that in Excel. And there's also a multiple choice matrix question, which we're going to have to split also. All right, so those are some of the caveats in Google Forms, but the software will solve all those for you. All right, so here is the survey data. Next thing we're going to need is what each of these questions are called in Google Forms. So for example, your name, the question type is called short answer. What is your gender? The question type is multiple choice. And the reason we need that is because we're going to be using VizualSurvey's crosswalk to figure out what VizualSurvey question type is. So for example, for Google Forms, short answer is going to be either a text box or zip code. Paragraph is a text box or zip code. Multiple choice is a single response. Checkbox is multiple choice, etc. Now these say text box or zip code just because if someone asks you, a short answer saying what is your zip code or what's your office zip code, and you want that to be a map in the visualizations, then instead of putting text box, which is open-ended, you'll put a zip code if you're asking for your zip code because we can put a map in the visualization. All right. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. If it's called checkboxes in Google Forms, then you're going to put multiple choice in VizualSurvey. Now the new question number is saying, is there only one column associated with this question or is there multiple? So for example, the checkboxes, there's going to be more than one column at the end that is associated with that question because somebody can pick more than one answer. So then you're going to have to group question numbers together. Also, you're going to have any notes. For example, like I was saying, the checkbox question types in Google Forms, you're going to need to split it in VizualSurvey. All right, so this is going to help you with the whole process. But the good thing is this is the same thing. If you're using Google Forms surveys all the time, then you're going to be using this one document the whole time. And once you do it a few times, you'll be able to pretty much do it in your sleep. All right, so let's go ahead and upload the data. You either grab the file here, or you can just grab the raw data, Excel or CSV file, and just drop it in here, and it'll upload it for you. You also have the option to import it directly through our API. There is another video on how to set all that up, but you can then just click here, click on whatever Google Form survey you're doing, and it'll upload it automatically for you without having to import it through the CSV or Excel file. All right, so here is the preview. We see we have all of our data in here. Next, we are going to add a response ID because Google Forms doesn't give you one. So you're able to do it here. Just do add response ID, and it's just going to give a distinct number for each of these rows so that we can count the responses correctly. All right, once you see it's finished loading, you'll have response ID, and this is what we're going to use in the prep data. So let's go ahead and jump to prep data. All right, so now you'll see on the left side, we have a preview of all of our data, which is already transposed or flipped or pivoted. You have a drop down where you can filter this preview if you like. And you also have the ability to filter it by selecting the ID number here, which is just the column number. Okay. Next, you're going to identify what the responder ID is. We already added the response ID, so it's already selected here. You have our select option, which you can select and then use an action. The actions are you can hide, you can apply a question number, or you can split. You also have the option to see any hidden questions that you already hid. So for example, this timestamp I do not want, so I'm going to select that. And I'm going to select this spam question that was just auto-generated. And I'm going to go to actions and I'm going to go to hide. All right, it's going to say you want to hide it. And yes, now the good thing is you can always go back and unhide them, so they're not deleted forever. All right, next you have all of your column names. You can change your column names here, but it's easier to do it in the clean data stage. But this is going to be all of your columns listed here. You have new question number. This is how you group those columns that, for example, like here, there's 7 or there's multiple 7s, but these are really all one question. So you're going to give all of these number 7, which will group all of these columns together and tell the software that these are all from the question number 7. Okay, so you'll group all of those together by giving them the same new question number. Next is the question type. This is where that crosswalk comes in handy. You'll see what the question type was called in Google Forms. You'll go to our knowledge base and find the crosswalk, and you'll just say, all right, it's called multiple choice in Google Forms. In VizualSurvey, it's called single response. Pretty easy. All right, and at that point, we'll add whatever we want as filters, and then we'll move to the clean data stage. So now all we have to do is start applying our new question number. So this was the question, what's your name, pretty much, or your name. This is let's go take a look at the document, what it was called in Google Forms. This is called a short answer. So then we go to the crosswalk. Short answer is either a text box or zip code. Since we're not asking for a zip code, it's a text box. And it's just going to be a single question number because there's only one column associated with it. All right. And same process. The next one, number 2, what did Google Forms call it? Google Forms called it a multiple choice. In VizualSurvey, a multiple choice in Google Forms is called a single respondents, and it's a single. So give it its own number and call it single response. And you do the same thing over and over. Now this one is also a text entry, but as you see, this is asking for a zip code. And if I want to show this in a map, then I have to give this the zip code question type. And you kind of easily do this by selecting the preview here. All right, and I usually have this on another screen while I'm going back and forth. But like I said, once you do this a few times, it's going to be pretty easy. So I'm going to go ahead and just go through this so it can go a little faster. This one is its own question. It's going to be a single response. All right, this one here, when did you start using the software? That's going to be its own question number, and this is going to be a date. As you see, there's dates in there. All right, how likely are you to recommend? This is called an NPS. So this gets its own question number, and this is going to be a Net Promoter Score question type. Now we'll see here we have a few different columns associated with this question number. All right, this is going to be a matrix. So this, as you see, was the rows, and this was the columns in the matrix in the actual software, in the actual survey. So these are all going to get the same number, and Google Forms make it pretty easy because they put all the numbers here for you. So you see this is all going to be number 7. All right, and then this is going to be called a single response matrix. All right, number 8, let's take a look at that. Now, this one's a little different. This is that multiple choice one I was talking about. Now, you have multiple answers in one column, which is something we can't have because we need to be able to count every one of these answers. So I'm going to go ahead and give this an 8 because this is the next one. And this is going to be a multiple choice. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it and go to Actions and Split. I have to select the delimiter, which is a comma, and hit apply. And what that is going to do, it's going to split all of these answers out into its own columns. So now when I go down and look at number 8, you'll see it split all of those answers into its own column. So now there's just one answer per column. So now I'm going to get the correct count. All right, let's look at number 9. Number 9 is a open-ended type question. So I'm going to select text box for this. Let's look at number 10. Number 10 is also a matrix, but as you see, it's a multiple choice matrix. So somebody can select more than one answer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give these all number 10. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to have to select all of them just to be safe. And I'm going to split these as well. But instead of being a single response matrix, it's a multiple choice matrix. And select all of these, even if some of them may not have multiple answers. It's better be safe than sorry. And let's split this with a comma as well. All right, and we'll scroll down and you'll see there's a few additional ones here because we had to split those out. All right, so that is all done. Next, we're just going to identify what we want to be filters. So, for example, I want gender to be a filter. I want to be able to filter my dashboard by gender. You type in whatever you want that filter name to be called, and then you have an option here where you can only use it as a filter. So, for example, if you want gender to only be a filter and not show up as a chart, then you use this and it just be a filter and it won't be a visualization at all. If you want it to be a visualization and a filter, then just put the filter name and hit save. And you do this for a few different ones if you want, as many as you want, and just hit save. All right. Now that is it. You'll see you have all of your question numbers, your question types, and whatever you want as your filters. Next, you'll jump into the clean data where you'll clean it up, and then you'll be able to preview it and connect it to the dashboard templates or create your own. All right, that's it for this one. See ya.